All right, so if we have a cervical radiculopathy concern and we want to make sure the nerves are all cleared and there's not a major problem happening at the cervical level, we have a couple of different tests to run through. The first of which is called the arm squeeze test, and this has a 96.7% sensitivity and a 96.2 specificity, so it's a really good test. And it identifies if there's basically just a major cervical radiculopathy versus shoulder pathology and something happening up here. This is one of those screens that says, if they have no symptoms with this, you're pretty sure you can move on from cervical screening. Super simple. I'm just going to take two hands and squeeze on the middle third of the humerus. And holding for about 30 to 60 seconds, if they have no symptoms of tingling and numbness or loss of sensation down the hand or arm, it's not cervical radiculopathy. They may have pain that causes tingling and numbness, but if it's not positive with this, you can be pretty assured that it's not cervical radiculopathy. Okay? Arm squeeze test, really well supported by research. Okay? So the first one that we're going to test is the upper limb tension test number 1 for the median and AIN nerves. This one, we're going to do shoulder depression, abduction to about 110 degrees, forearm supination, and shoulder into external rotation. I'm going to extend the wrist and fingers with elbow extended carefully. Okay? Here, if this elicits symptoms, we have a positive test. I may try having her flex cervical vertebrae to the contralateral side. So I'll say take your right ear to your right shoulder, and that may flare up symptoms also. This looks an awful lot like median nerve glides though, right? That's the same position we're testing. Upper limb tension test 2, test the musculoskeletal and axillary artery. It's going to look really similar. I'm going to do shoulder depression, abduction to just about 10 degrees, forearm supination and external rotation, wrist and hand in extension and elbow in extension carefully. And then again, right shoulder to right ear as I'm testing her left arm, contralateral cervical flexion. Positive test here means they have compression at musculoskeletal or axillary nerve. Upper limb tension test number 3 is for the radial nerve, or it's called the waiter's tip position. Again, shoulder depression, internal rotation and forearm pronation, wrist and fingers into flexion, and slight ulnar deviation as much as you can get there. And then again, I'll do right ear to right shoulder for contralateral extension there, or contralateral flexion. And this is just looking again for that positive symptom for tingling, numbness, loss of sensation. Okay, that's number 3. And upper limb tension test number 4 is the ulnar nerve. Here, again, starts with shoulder depression. We're going to do abduction to 90 degrees. We're going to do forearm pronation and internal rotation, elbow flexion, and wrist and fingers in extension. And we're going to hold in that position. And then again, right ear to right shoulder for contralateral neck flexion. And we're testing to see if she has tingling and numbness in the ulnar nerve. But again, with each of these, whether it's the waiter's tip for radial nerve or this position for ulnar nerve, each of these represents or is similar to what we would expect to see for a nerve glide for a nerve entrapment either proximally or distally. So really similar for those 4 different nerve entrapment types.